The hinge theorem, or its converse, to compare an unlabeled pair of sides or angles in a triangle. So this is basically where we had the two different alligator jaws. We tried to figure out like what was bigger than what in the two triangles. Okay, on 41, you see that both triangles have a 4 and a 3, right? Both triangles have a 4 side and a 3 side. Those would be the alligator jaws. The top triangle, those jaws are open 20 degrees. The bottom triangle, those jaws are open 20 degrees. So what can I say about the third side that's unlabeled? Okay, listen. If you have the same jaws on two twin alligators, and both alligators open their jaws 20 degrees, then what do we know about the gap between their jaws? It's going to be the same. So they're equal. So what is equal in that picture? VM equals LK. You can say segment LK is congruent to segment VM, or you can say just LK equals VM. Because when you don't put the segment symbol on top, that means you're talking about the length of the segment. You just say VM equals LK. Okay.
Does that mean on 40 y z is greater than v?
Yep. Okay, 43. So 42 should be angles. Which angle is bigger than what angle? 43, it says, this one's kind of tricky because they don't label it for us, but it's kind of the same thing. Which is bigger, BC or AD? So if you look at that picture over there, it's kind of like that. And then it says AB and DC are both 15. That's these two. And then it says angle ABD is 47. That's this one. And angle BDC is 60. That's this one. All right, do you guys see the alligator jaws? They share this side. And they both have a 15. So on the top one, this is the alligator, like jaws going this way. And on the bottom one, this is the alligator. Okay? This alligator has its jaws open wider than this alligator. So what do I know? The gap between these jaws is going to be bigger than the gap between these jaws. So what is this side called? BC.
Is greater than AD.
Bigger than AD. So BC is greater than AD.
That was the thing I was talking about. So it's smaller than the
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. You're like, no, we didn't do that.
Oh, smaller the gap, the smaller the angle. I'm sure you said something weird. Okay. Let's see, what are we doing? All the way. 45. Find the range of possible lengths for the third side of a triangle with two sides of the given lengths. You know what that means? It means we have two sides of a triangle, 5 and 10. Whoa. What could the third side of the triangle be? Like, what's the range of possible lengths for the third side? Okay. Their third side cannot be too big. How big would be too big? 15. Why wouldn't 15 work? Because any two sides of a triangle have to add up, be bigger than the third side, right? So the third side has to be less than 15, but it also has to be bigger than 5. Because 5 plus the third side should be bigger than 10. So basically all we did was we added these two together to find the upper limit, and we subtracted these two to find the lower limit. X has to be somewhere between those limits.
Why would you do DE if you didn't have
Okay, we did one of these on the homework. So you do the same thing with D and E.
It can be bigger than D.
What would the upper limit be? D plus E. X would have to be smaller than that.
But it can't be
What would the lower limit be?
D minus E.
Okay. There's something a little bit wrong with this though.
It'd be E minus D.
No,
D minus E with the absolute value.
right. So if we did 10 minus 5, we get 5. But if we had done 5 minus 10, we get negative 5. And you don't want a negative, so use absolute values around it. Okay, 47 says Sylvia, sounds like a grandma's name, is attempting to construct triangle BAC with AB and AC equals 7. Find the range of possible values for X, which is the length of segment BC. That would produce the result. Okay, on 47, what would X have to be to make it an equilateral triangle? 7. That's the answer. Okay, equilateral triangle. Jasmine, where's your book at?
She just had her book in like
I know, you need to find it. It's gonna,
You know, you say it's
Costs
in
you
the
guys
back
a
of
lot
your
of
car,
money if you
almost
can't.
every single day.
Yeah, I just thought it was fun.
You just don't like it.
okay,
Okay.
what would X have to be to make this a right triangle? Okay, X is a side, not an angle.
Something bigger.
Okay, what do we know about the sides of a right triangle? No, those are,
One of them makes a right angle.
no. Okay, guys, these are angles,
Oh, the linear?
these are sides,
Collinear.
right? If we don't know the difference by now, we're in trouble. I said, what do we know about the sides of a right triangle?
One.
Don't say 180.
G.
90 degrees. What is all
There's
this?
something special we learned about right triangles.
They're 90 degrees.
They always have 90 degrees.
Sides, sides.
The sides are going to be the same.
No.
Squared.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That always happens on a right triangle. Okay, what does A, B, and C stand for? The leg, and the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the big side. Okay. X would have to be the hypotenuse. Do you guys know why I know that?
Because
These two are the same. So they can't be the hypotenuse. So this would be, like we're trying to make this one the right angle, basically. So how big should X be?
A and B squared would be
7 squared plus 7 squared should give us X squared.
Sticky, 7 squared plus
Why don't you guys try and solve that before I do?
9.8994.
No decimals. No decimals.
Square root of 94.
You're a little bit off.
98.
Square root
Square root of 98 simplifies a little bit.
Square root 98.
If you have a TI 83, it doesn't
Is
automatically
it over
do it.
1 or something?
7 square root.
I have a TI 30X2F.
Yeah, that doesn't do it. So if you're not good at, if you don't know how to simplify square roots, you might borrow somebody's calculator for this. How do we get rid of an x squared? How do we get rid of the squared? Technically, it could be plus or minus the square root of 98, but because we're talking about the length of a triangle, it's just going to be positive square root of 98. How do we simplify square root of 98? Well, a lot of calculators can do it. Whoops.
Oh, the tree.
You can do it with a tree. by finding the factorization. The doubles,
So it's
like square root of 49 turns into a 7, square root of 2 doesn't simplify,
So 7 squared.
so that's 7 square root of 2. Anyway, so magic. Okay, normally we don't put the decimal version of that, unless like the directions tell us to. Usually we keep it with a square root, because the decimal is infinite, so you can't write an exact answer for it. So that's why we usually put a square root. Anyways, that was 48.
Would 49 be like less than 7 but greater than 0? Basically, so like 0 less than x, less than 7.
Wouldn't it just be 7?
Okay, so in order to make this a right angle, we made this 7 square root of 2. That was 47, right?
No, 48. So this was 40.
Oh, that was 48. This is 49. Okay, so the question is, how do I make it an acute for 49? How do I make it an acute triangle? Well, I'd have to make this angle less than 90, so what would happen to this side?
It'd be
It would
less.
shrink. It'd be less than this. If I make this angle up here a little bit smaller, mouth closes, and this x side would have to be smaller than that. Okay, but it'd have to be bigger than what? 0. Because you can't have a triangle with the side of 0. It doesn't make sense.
Triangle.
On 50, we want an obtuse triangle. So obtuse means bigger than 90, right? So if I made this,
So
Bigger.
x is greater than 7.
it'd be greater than 7.2, or 7 squared root of 2. X would be bigger than that, but,
It can't be 180 degrees with the root line instead of
okay, no, that's angles. We're doing sides.
Yeah, I know.
Has to be
I'm saying
smaller.
So that would mean that the sides would have a limit how far.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. It has to be smaller than 14 because 7 and 7 make 14. And two sides of a triangle have to be larger than the third side. Whoops, I didn't write.
That was 5.
Okay, on 51, do you guys know what BAC means?
Straight line.
Yeah, basically a straight line.
Oh, so they weren't.
How long would X have to be for,
14.
yeah. If we stretch this out to 14, then this would go flat and make a straight line, right? So X equals 14. Okay, 52, how long would you have to make X so the segments,
13 or 13.5.
Greater
Less
than
than
14.
okay, yeah, for them not to meet, you'd have to be farther than 14 apart, so these two wouldn't stretch far enough. So X would be greater, X would be greater than 14. Oh, yeah, maybe tomorrow. We'll
If
see
we
how
have
it goes.
time after.
Yeah, I'll probably give you the test first, if we have time at the end, we will.